What is going on, guys? It's the Mad Dragon. I'm in a Wales jersey today. Not just a Wales jersey, it's an old-fashioned Wales jersey. Got my Under Armour, got my Brains logo. They don't have that anymore. This is an old-school jersey that I found. And why am I in a Wales jersey when I'm at the Lions station? That's because we've had some Wales news, and I haven't had a lot of time this weekend to come up with any interesting footage, so you've got my face for the day. So, Wales have now announced their summer tour team. So this is something I didn't even consider was going to be going on, so I'm really excited this is going to be happening. So they've come up with a new team. Of course, they'll be missing a lot of key Wales players, all out with the Lions team. This is going to be going on in July. It's going to be really exciting to see where they go. So Pivac's had to pick sort of a second team, and there's been some quite interesting picks to go through here. So I'm probably not going to go through all the players. I'll put them up on the screen somewhere as we're going through them. So let's start off with the forwards. It's a very strong looking set of forwards. We have what have we got here? 3 uncapped players. So they're trying out some new players. Pivac, of course, will be wanting to use this as a bit of experimentation before we get to the next Six Nations. Get some lads who don't normally see a lot of game time, get them more game time, and of course, blooding a few new players. It's the best time to do it. It's going to be really interesting. And as a Wales fan, it's nice to see the depth that this squad has. I mean, a couple of these players that could have, maybe even gone on a Lions tour themselves. They played very well. People stick out to me. People like Tom Francis, I thought, have a fantastic Six Nations. But it's nice to see that even with a lot of those starting players out, the 15 you can sort of make out of these players, especially these forwards. Elliot D has been at a very high standard for me in terms of hooker, definitely outshining Ryan Elias. Haven't been too very sort of happy with his performance recently. Nicky Smith, Rodri Jones in that prop department. Like I said, Tom Francis I thought played very well. I watched Dylan Lewis play on the weekend. Thought he had a really good game. Dylan Lewis definitely fighting to try and take over in that prop department there. Adam Baird you can have at the locks. You got Corey Hill for locks. Will Rowlands has been getting in a lot more recently, trying to get him involved with that Wales team. Moriarty, Navidi, Wainwright, the 3 of them there covering the 6, 7, 8 positions. Pretty much a lot of utility in that back row there. So I think the forwards are looking very, very strong. This Wales team has a great depth in it. Something we haven't had for quite a few years now in a Wales team. We pretty much had a standard 23, and changing any of those 23 meant it was a bit of a damaged team. Having all these new players in now, being able to build a bigger team is something that Pivac is about. We got to see what he did at the Scarlets. Big utility team going on. So hopefully it'll be interesting to see how this team gets on, if they can play well together. Moving on to the backs, and certainly a lot of speed and skill in this back set, really. I mean, Kieran Hardy, Thomas Williams, 2 of the best scrum halves in the Welsh region at the minute. In all honesty, Kieran Hardy had such a good Six Nations. I'm wondering whether I personally would put him maybe above Gareth Davis recently. Gareth Davis not doing the best work for me, but he is off on the Lions tour. Now is the time to shine. Thomas Williams, I do rant and rave about. I think he's a fantastic scrum half. Really looking forward to see how he gets on. I think those two will be really competing. Roger Williams also in there. Unfortunately, we don't get to see him as much as we would like to, but he is a very good player still. Callum Sheedy and Jared Evans will be really battling it out for that fly half position. Callum Sheedy was very impressive to me in the Six Nations, said a lot of good things about him. Jared Evans could probably work on his kicking a little bit in terms of towards the posts. Did see him in that Blues game on the weekend. There was definitely maybe some wanting kicks from him. Callum Sheedy is very dependable. He's definitely certified himself as from the bench fly half. You know what he's going to bring into that team. So getting him to see starting a game I think will be really interesting. Over the course of the 3 games, of course, they'll be playing. I'm sure we'll see some switch-ups in there, but it'd be nice to see Callum Sheedy get a bit more time. Definitely making an impact for maybe second string fly half in this Wales team. Moving further back, Jonathan Davis is taking over as the captain. Now this was a big call. I'm a big Jonathan Davis fan. I think he's petered out in the last few years. And this year in the Six Nations, I think he had a really bad Six Nations, unfortunately, for Jonathan Davis. He's always struggled so much with injury after injury. There are always huge injuries as well. It's never like a little knock. I remember a few years back, what did he do? It was like he tore his pec muscle from his rib cage. That's an injury no one wants. He struggled through a lot, but he always comes back, Jonathan Davis. We know he's such a big player. Interesting to see that he's got the captaincy, though. I think, personally, I would have given that to Corey Hill. Has a bit more experience as a captain in that department. Jonathan Davis has played captain a couple of times, but I never really get to see him sort of doing a lot as a captain. when he goes and talks to the refs, I don't see him sort of, combating decisions a lot. I just see him sort of accept it and move on. I would like to see maybe Corey Hill take over that, especially with Alan Wynne getting on now in a few years. You're going to be looking for a new captain coming through, maybe in the next 2-3 years. Maybe you could be looking for Alan Wynne to be retired. Will he make the next World Cup? It's not 100% sure. So you'll be wanting a new captain somewhere in those lines. Jonathan Davis getting on in age a little bit. His talent, I think, for me, is beginning to peter off a little bit now. I would like to see someone who's going to be able to step up. They have been looking at sort of Justin Tipperick. I don't think he's quite there for me as captaincy, whereas seeing Corey Hill in captain in the previous times, I think he's got what it takes, and especially taking over maybe that number 5 position from Alan Wynne at some point in the future. I think I would maybe go down the Corey Hill route, but again, injuries galore for him. Looking a bit more at the centres, Halaholo coming in. I did think Halaholo had quite a good tournament. His defensive work is really nice, what we're seeing from him. Unfortunately, he doesn't get to play a lot of game time. He was coming on in that last 10-15 minutes. But I think he was playing good rugby. He hasn't got a lot of caps to his name. It'd be interesting to see where he takes from there. But definitely coming in. Unfortunately, there's a couple of number 12 issues that we have in Wales at the minute. That inside centre channel isn't the best in terms of positions. There's not a lot of people wanting to take up that mantle. So Halaholo coming in, hopefully will do well. Nick Tompkins, someone we haven't seen a lot in a Wales jersey recently, had a fantastic entrance to the world of international rugby against that Italy game. That was, a year and a bit ago now when he came on against Italy. Played very well. Defensive work strong. Be nice to see him get back in that, probably outside centre. I really hope they don't put him on the inside centre because I think he plays so much better at 13. Jonathan Davis also at 13, so when he's come on as captain, they're probably going to put Nick Tompkins on at 12. I'd really like to see Nick Tompkins take that 13 position. In fact, I'd like Halaholo inside and Nick Tompkins outside centre. I think that's a nice partnership. It does leave out Jonathan Davis, which I'm sure Pivac won't do in the real world, but it'd be nice to see. Ben Thomas going to be coming in as well, making his debut at some point, hopefully. Hallam Amos coming into the team. Hallam Amos is one of those players for me, has always struggled in a Wales jersey. When you see him at club level, he's so good. He really does the job well. But that step up to international, again, he's been thwarted with injuries. And I just never get to see him take that extra step up in internationals. For me, if you're looking for a winger, I guess the utility for Hallam Amos, he can play fullback, he can play winger. If you were looking to replace them, I personally, I might have looked to go Steph Evans here. Steph Evans has done a bit of fullback work, not as much as Hallam Amos, but certainly what he brings in terms of a winger. I think Steph Evans is very good at the minute, and maybe would be looking to take that number 11 shirt. Josh Adams has managed to hold that out now in Wales, and I thought it would have been a nice time to see him take that step up. Unfortunately, Steph Evans just never seems to get a look in this Wales shirt. He must have done something in the background, because I can't believe someone of that talent doesn't get picked for the Wales team. Lee Halfpenny will, of course, be making his way in there as well. Jonah Holmes, someone I'm really looking forward to see. He has come on leaps and bounds in that Dragons team. He is playing really, really well. Can play winger, can play centre, can play fullback. I believe he's even played fly half a couple of times, which, it's a hell of a versatility in a player, and he is very quick and he's very powerful. Really looking forward to see Jonah Holmes back in. Jonah Holmes is one of those people I just want to see more of in the Wales team. Unfortunately, there's just never been a great position for him. Again, when I've seen him play at centre, I prefer him at 13 to 12. He plays very well on that right wing, which of course now Zammit has just sort of dominated. It's going to be hard to take that shirt away from him, so it'd be nice to see him getting there. As well as Owen Lane, the Lane train. Can we get him in to see a bit more game time? Would be nice. Again, a lot of these players, there's a bit of youth coming through here with some of these players actually. Yohan Lloyd coming in, and Tom Rogers going to be hopefully making a debut as an uncapped. So 5 uncapped players coming into a 34 squad team. It's quite a big move, but I think Pivac's looking forward now. He's not really looking forward at this tournament as its own little tournament. He won't care too much about the summer tour. It's what can we look ahead to. So 5 uncapped players, get them in, get them a bit used to international stage. There's still big teams they're going to be playing. The teams they're going to be playing is going to be Canada. It's going to be the first game on the 3rd of July. No disrespect to Canada, but Wales will of course be looking for a win there. Canada are very much a sort of tier 2 nation in rugby. They can come away with those wins. I haven't seen anything about the Canadian team. I don't know if Van der Merwe plays for Canada anymore. I can't remember if he retired. I haven't kept up with my Canadian rugby too much. So Canada might struggle to have a bit of a strong team to be able to deal with this, especially with a lot of these players are starting players for Wales. They won't be looking to lose that game particularly. So we'll probably see a few more of the uncapped players taking, a bit of shape in that Canada game, no doubt. And then the 2 games coming after that, back-to-back games versus Argentina. Now there's a big couple of games than Wales. historically have done pretty well against Argentina, especially in the last few years. They've been able to deal with them. They're going to be playing that on the 10th of July and the 17th of July. But the big question will be coming now is, will this Wales team be able to beat an Argentina team that not that long ago was taking on Australia, beating New Zealand? We've already, of course, seen the team has been announced. I haven't done a video around that. I only just sort of looked that up myself. You know, there's big players in there. They haven't taken this as a bit of an easy going, trying to blood some of their own players, really. The Argentinian team coming into this is big. Nicolas Sanchez taking over in that fly half. Pablo Matera captaining a team to beating New Zealand. You know, what a record that was. What a fantastic game it was for anyone who got to see that. I was up at like 3 in the morning watching that game. Loved every second of it. So they're playing really well. So hopefully they've been able to carry the momentum through. Hopefully that wasn't sort of, a couple months back. Would they have begun to drop off a little bit? Hopefully they're going to keep that coming and give Wales some really good games. And I think that's a real good benchmark for a couple of these players. Beating Southern Hemisphere teams like Argentina, who are still good teams. You know, they got to be up there. When you look at a World Cup, no one's ruling them out of finishing, you know, in the top 4, and they're being able to beat New Zealand, take on Australia really consistently now as well. I mean, these are teams that go on to win World Cups. So if you can beat teams like that, there's no reason they can't be looking to win the next World Cup if they can keep that momentum going and that team gel together. So going to be really interesting to see how that goes, but I'm really looking forward to seeing some more Wales internationals alongside some of the Lions stuff. We do, of course, have the predictor set up on the Super Brew app for anyone who hasn't gone on to follow the Lions tour. I will put a link down to that video in case anyone fancies joining up for that group. And I hope you've all enjoyed today, guys. A bit of Wales news, bit of a different thing. It's a lot of fun. I got to put on the Wales shirt. I don't get to do this a lot on camera, so it's a lot of fun. So if you have enjoyed this video, make sure you drop it a like and make sure you subscribe to this channel just to keep up to date with all the videos as they come out. I hope you've all enjoyed today, guys. I will see you next time. Bye bye.